You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. How we doing? How we doing? Indiana Fever strike again. They took them down 98-89. Indiana Fever playing back and played some good basketball. They opened it up. And I'll tell you this right off the bat. Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark, MVP. Okay, you got Mitchell in there, first team all WNBA. And you got Boston battling it out down in the box and did a heck of a job tonight. Very, very impressive win for the Indiana Fever. Very, very impressive offensive rotation. I'll tell you this. You know, the Indiana Fever exploded in the first quarter, and they were up 33-16. I mean, they just took the life out of them. And when you look at this and I see it, I'll tell you just the way it works, folks. I mean, you're going to walk down this, and I'll tell you, if you're looking on the inside of the deal, you got Katie Samuelson hit a big three-point shot tonight. Battled out 22 minutes, came out of +5. Obviously, they won by 9. But you look at it, and you look at Nia Smith, 5 for 12, 3 for 3, battled in there all night long, 9 big rebounds. Okay, and just solid on the defensive end coming in. But here's the deal for Boston. Boston gives you every ounce that she can give you. And you look at Boston, goes 5-11, 4 for 4, and 9 rebounds, 4 assists coming out of the hands of Boston. Boston led the team tonight in efficiency coming in at a +16, 14 points picked up. And you look at Kelsey Mitchell, just 37 minutes, was a workhorse tonight. Came up with the big shots. I mean, she ran the floor, and really battled out, like I said, 11-22, 6 of 13 from the three-point line. Mitchell +9, hit it on the nose, and 28 points. Now, when you talk about Caitlin Clark, let's talk about Caitlin Clark, because I really want to bounce this around a little bit as we talk about Caitlin Clark. And I want to share something here that, your fans, you already know this, and some of you have been complaining or going the opposite direction. Here's the deal. Coming down the MVP race is going to be Caitlin Clark and Asia Wilson. I cast my vote for Caitlin Clark, and let me tell you why. Caitlin Clark is not the most talented player in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is not the most athletic player in the WNBA. However, Caitlin Clark is the best player in the WNBA. I repeat, Caitlin Clark is the best player in the WNBA. I know Asia Wilson's having an outstanding season for the Las Vegas Aces, but that doesn't match up. That right there doesn't match up. And here's my reasons why. You got Caitlin Clark is really outstanding. Okay, when you want to talk about outstanding, you want to say, hey, what do I got? I got a player here that's just outstanding. I mean, just money in the bank. And when you get to money in the bank, and here's the deal, for the first time tonight, like I told you, Christy Side's going to be coach of the year. I mean, I can see that a mile away. However, you know what Caitlin and Christy are doing now? Christy's letting her rock and roll. Okay, she's backed off. Okay, and you know what? She's doing a little chewing in there. And, Mitchell and Cloud got tangled up tonight. That's basketball. But, Mitchell's doing what Mitchell's supposed to do. And when you do what Mitchell's supposed to do, Mitchell's a doggone good basketball player, I'll tell you, folks. I mean, Mitchell just lit it up tonight if you really want to call it what it is. Mitchell gets 28 points, 4 assists, and hits key big shots. Got tangled up with Cloud a little bit. But, finished the game well. You go to Christy Sides. This is the deal, man. Let's put it what it is. She doesn't have anything to do. The Ferrari came out tonight. The Ferrari. Okay, that's Caitlin Clark's the Ferrari, hitting big buckets, big passes, controlling the game. And most of all, when you get back to Caitlin Clark, I'll tell you what I like she did. Caitlin Clark scores 29 points, okay? Fever resumed the season with a win over the Mercury. And that's one by one, she's going to take them down. There's no doubt about it. And I told you guys before, everybody that's on the Olympic team, every one time they play, they're going to beat them and beat them flat. Now, Indiana Fever put up 100 points, okay? And where's that movement in the standing? They're climbing on up, 12 and 15, chasing down the Connecticut Sun. This is something that the WNBA hasn't seen before. There's no way you can see this before because Caitlin Clark is doing things that nobody else can do in the WNBA. And I told you, she's shortening up the game. Here's the difference. Most post players get a pass today. They're going to get a pass. They got to take 3-4 dribbles to get in position. She's shortened that game down to a 2-dribble pound. That's what you want to see. Doesn't matter if you're playing for Duke. Doesn't matter if you're playing for Kentucky or you're playing for Calipari, Arkansas, okay, or you play in the NBA. The player has 2 dribbles and should be able to complete a shot. Now, when you have a point guard that can shorten the player's game, and if you look at the dimes she's dropping in or the passes she's dropping in, there's only going to be a 1 or 2 dribble. That's it. And it's time to go put it up in the bucket. So you look at it and you try to understand the Phoenix Mercury and what the Phoenix Mercury really can do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. And here's the reason it doesn't matter. When you got Christy Sides, they figured it out. They put the offense in. They got the defensive rotations, the best I've seen them all year tonight on the defensive end. Just an outstanding game. And when you look at Kelsey, and you got Kelsey Mitchell, man, that one there, there's a love connection going on. And you know what, Lynn Dunn, you're going to have to either open up the checkbook and try to lock it up, or you got to make a decision, because every time Kelsey Mitchell, if she's auditioning for other teams in the NBA, they're coming to get her. And Lynn Dunn, you're going to have to make a decision of what you want to do. The Indiana Fever, striking, hitting good, playing good, dominating, doing what they're supposed to do. And you look at it and you say, wow, man, this thing here can get really good, and it can get really good in a hurry. Okay, and when I say really good in a hurry, this is what you're talking about, because you got Phoenix here as a good team. Okay, but guess what? We can come up with any other excuses that you want to run. We ran them out 31-16 in the first. So you got to understand, the Fever put up 54 points in the first, and they were ahead. You know, you had 54-37. Indiana made a run. Okay, this is the second time you start getting up by 30 points. The team has got to go through a maturation process and understand we'll give you a run, but we're not giving you a run all the way back in the game. So that's what happened in the third. And Chrissy Sides, 5:07 in the third. She took Caitlin out, and it took them about, 3 minutes to get the lead and threaten back in there. Got to get Caitlin back in the game. Now, Wheeler's got to step to that. Wheeler gets some minutes, but Wheeler, you're in the rotation getting 15. Coming out of -6, okay, that's not healthy. Dantas coming in there -2, did hit a big bucket, went 1 for 5. So they're running that rotation just like I said. They're going to go about 8 deep. Okay, it's playoff time. It's time to find out who can get it done. And so when you look at that, what happened on the other end? Okay, Griner, she's 10 points. Great job by Boston in the paint. I'm going to tell you, great job right there by Boston in the paint. Really got something done. Taurasi, 5 of 13, 16 points, -16. She killed their team tonight. She just was not very good. You got Nia Cloud, man, that's a good guard right there. Make big shots, lots of patience. 7 of 13, so played it well. Copper's Copper. Okay, Copper's Copper. Copper's just a good ball player. She's the best 2-guard in the league, if you ask me. She's just got so much more experience. However, Copper just battled 38 points, but folks, here's the difference. Copper went to the line 19 times. 19 times Copper went to the line. We got to look at that and say 19 times you got a player go to the free throw line. That shouldn't happen. Okay. Dropped 32 points, 6 assists. So she was all over the board. If you just played her head up, she got it down to a -2. Okay. And you got to know, you got Cunningham in there, did the same. That's some good defense. And you got the bench down. They battled back. But here's the big difference. Taurasi. Man, oh, man, Taurasi gave up a lot of buckets tonight. And everybody else played it within the league. You got, a tough thing you got to deal with. But the Indiana Fever, okay, because we played their game. If you look at it, you got Phoenix shot it out 25 of 60. I'll tell you the big difference tonight. Folks, hang with me. I'm going to give you the big difference to the game right now. Okay, so what happened? You got Phoenix was 14 of 36 from the three-point line, okay? And 25 of 28 from the free throw line. They shot a whole lot of free throws, okay? But let's drop down to the Fever, and I'll get you right on track. Here's the big difference. Fever took 74 shots. You go back up, the Mercury took 60. Okay, that's a big advantage when you could get that going and you could shoot more shots. That's a huge advantage right there, folks. Okay, and if you look at the Fever, we go down there, we look at the 3-point, 14 to 36, 38.9%, almost 40%. That's where you want to be. Then at the foul line, the Fever got it done, 94%. So those are the numbers that you want to get, 45% going out there from the field. Coming in there, 38%, almost 39%, heading up to 40%. And then you go right there. So, if you look at it, what we call them is 50, 40, and 90. That's 50% from the field, 40% from the three-point line, 90%. Coming in there, okay, coming in there at the free throw line. That's what you got. But the game, here's the deal. You know what? And I'm not going to overshoot it. But, like I said, Caitlin Clark's not the most talented player, okay, in the WNBA. Let's just clarify that, okay? Caitlin Clark's not the most athletic player in the WNBA, right? So we're in agreement. But in the finalization of saying that, Caitlin Clark is the best player in the WNBA. So when you quantify that, what she does, okay, she is the Ferrari that runs the team. She runs it well. She did it. She came out tonight. She shot it well. Her legs are back underneath it. And I'll tell you, she's just chomping at the bit. Christy Sides decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to relax and enjoy the game. And I had a little tussle, ran out there. I mean, that's basketball. You got Mitchell is just shining it up, 28 points and playing freely and, man, getting shots. And I'm going to tell you, it's something to deal with. And then you go all the way back to the board. You got Caitlin Clark. All right, so that's the deal right there. There's a $100,000 bet I told you guys, Barstool, mate. And I'm going to tell you this. You know what? Every day, I'm telling you, if you look at it and you love to play and you love to make the bets, Money Mike going to put you on something right now. Okay? You know what? When you got somebody saying at, 8,500 or something, it was a big spread. You know what? You can jump on that because the Indiana Fever, I'm going to guarantee you this. They're going to get better, okay? And they got it sizzled out. They got the offense going. They got the team defense going. The teams in the WNBA, most of the time it goes one or two ways. It's a team's going to apply pressure to you. They're going to keep you on your heels, as we call it, okay? Because they're going to get in there and just press you out on transition offense. They're going to come back and run their offense and get transition defense. Everybody's set. And then on top of that, they're going to try to beat you with their style of basketball, okay? It's no longer, if we play the Aces, we're trying to stop the Aces. We're not trying to stop the Aces anymore. We're trying to play our game and see if the Aces can go in a 12-round bout, okay? If you got a 12-round fight in boxing, okay, that's what you got. So you had it tonight where the Fever had the lead. They came back and they took it over, but guess what? Kelsey Mitchell is just something electrifying when it comes to big-time shots. You know what? And I was talking about Mitchell earlier, and, man, I don't know what the Fever are going to do. This one's going to get complicated because she's going to play the best basketball she's played in a long time. She loves the offense. Boston loves the offense. Leah Smith is just balling out. I mean, you can never forget about Smith because here's the deal: 5 of 12, didn't hit a 3-pointer, 3 of 3 at the line. Gets you 9 boards, 1 assist, gets a block, 3 turnovers, okay? So you got to count that to meaning something. And then when you get here to Caitlin Clark, here's the 2-to-1 ratio I'm talking about. That is this is what you want. You got 10 assists, 5 turnovers. Okay, that's the 2-to-1 ratio. You'll take that any night of the week. You get 20 assists, and I'm going to tell you this. You get 20 assists, and you get 10 turnovers, that's the 2-to-1. You're going to win some ball games with that, okay? So it doesn't matter if the turnover rate is high. It's high because you're not looking at the ratio, okay? If Caitlin Clark goes get 18 assists and gets 6 turnovers, now we're at a 3-to-1 ratio. Caitlin Clark, man, let's just be honest with everybody. I wish we could just come to the conclusion and do things right. Caitlin Clark's the MVP of the WNBA. There's no doubt about it. And when I say the MVP, every time she takes the court, she's electrifying. She's a joy to watch. The fan base man, they love her. Okay, the gets on the road, that fan base, they love her. So Caitlin Clark's the MVP. Now you can do all this fancy scratching and calculating and what Angel Wilson to make an announcement. Angel Wilson is definitely the no, she's not. Okay. And when you talk about the true MVP, okay, and this deal, the fans don't never get to vote in the WNBA. That one's got to change. You know, we want the organization in Sacramento. We're fair with everything. And you know, I kind of listen to Lynn Dunn. I'm gonna pick you up on the next story coming out. Lynn Dunn was saying that saw an article. It's just a hard salary cap. There's a hard salary cap. So you got players that want to come over and play for the Fever, and you know you got it all locked up. But they got to loosen up the gates, loosen up the purse strings, and let the best players that can come on the WNBA floor. And there's a whole lot of them. It's about 10, 15 players trying to get in. They just got hard salary caps, can't get in. But here nor there, you've heard it from me first. If you always tell you it's my opinion, okay, but if it turns the truth, I've given you the facts before they happen, and there's no doubt about it. Caitlin Clark is not the most talented player in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is not the most athletic player in the WNBA, but here's the chip on the wall. Caitlin Clark is the best player in the WNBA. There's no other player in the WNBA can do what Caitlin Clark did, okay? And I'm guaranteeing you this, she is the MVP. At one point or another, we're going to have to step in and acknowledge that because she has made the Indiana Fever better. They had the same players last year, came back better. Okay, you look at Angel Wilson, she did not make the Las Vegas Aces better. Las Vegas Aces got 4 or 5 players contribute to the success. Yes, she's bigger, stronger, gets more points, but you know what? At the end of the day, who's putting out more output? I'd say Caitlin Clark. And when you get there and get 29 points, you know what? You got 10 assists, you got 5 rebounds. Come on, guys, let's get it right. Huh? We can do one thing for once, get it right, and that's the MVP, Boney. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. I'm just here to tell you that tonight it was special, and I loved it. Okay, final score 98-89. Okay, Fever closed it out. They're up to 12-15 and climbing, and they're just going to keep going higher and higher. Caitlin Clark took them down. Best player in the WNBA, bar none. Okay, bar none. Caitlin Clark, best player in the WNBA. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're powered up by Fanatics, and we just give it to you straight as it can be. Indiana Fever are marching towards the WNBA championship. We'll see you soon.